Alright, there we go. So now that should be powered. Good. So what that does is that takes the place of a water chamber. So if I want to make pure crystals, all I've got to do is take some of this quartz dust, a little bit of sand, like so, and that'll give me Certus quartz seeds. Take those seeds, pick them up, run over here to the chamber, and dump those seeds in. Now they slowly grow. It takes about 30 seconds for them to grow all the way to full, and then that will give me basically 10 pure Certus quartz per regular Certus quartz. And for the most part, you can use pure Certus quartz in almost any recipe that you would normally just use regular Certus quartz. So it essentially doubles your production, and you can do that with nether quartz too. So what should I do next? Well, next I should work on the inscribers. Now with the inscribers, there we are, I need a bunch of sticky pistons. And I think, didn't I already make those? Oh, I only made enough for one. Okay. You can automate inscribers, but you need 5 of them. But we'll just make one for now, and then I will off-screen make the rest, and then I will show you how to make a nice automation system that is very lean on channels. So that just needs 1 Fluix crystal. Oh, it can even use pure Fluix, and a sea of iron. I'll just use the Fluix crystal for now. I'm not hurting on them too much, so that. 2 sticky pistons and a Fluix crystal. Boom, Inscriber. Alright, so then I hook that up to our power here. Okay, so now I can make processors, and processors are basically necessary for everything in Applied Energistics. Boy, that is just one heck of a mess, isn't it? That's actually a really bad spot for that, because I am going to need some glass cable coming off of that over this way. So let's do that, and then I will put this inscriber right there. Okay, good. Okay, so what was I doing? Oh yes, inscriber plates. So luckily, as I mentioned earlier, I picked up all 4 inscriber plates on my journey, which is handy because they take a little bit to get, unless you get as lucky as I got on the journey here. So that was very fortunate for me. Oh, the other thing that I needed to get going right away is silicon. Now there are a number of ways to get silicon. The absolute easiest way is to just take sand and put it into a sag mill. Sag mill will just process down through that and turn it into silicon. Unfortunately, the return is kind of terrible. You only get about 1 silicon on average for every 2 sand. A little bit more because I've got flint in here, and it'd be even better if I had one of those dark steel balls in there. But for now, this will be good enough. I think I can get by with just 10. Alright, so the way these guys work is you take the press and you put it on the top, and 1 silicon in here makes a printed silicon. And then, oh, what I should probably pick what I want. So the first thing I need to make is a drive bay, which is this guy here, which is 2 engineering processors. I'm going to need to make more glass cable and some iron. An engineering processor is a printed engineering circuit and one of those printed silicons smooshed together with redstone. And the printed engineering circuit is the engineering press with a diamond. So that we have all we need to make that. Just got to pull the diamond out of here. So then we take our engineering press, put it in there with a diamond, and then it just goes chunk, 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 chunk. You can also upgrade these with speed upgrades, and they'll go a lot faster. We're not quite that far into Applied Energistics yet. Okay, so then that goes on top. This goes on bottom, and I need a little bit of redstone. Put that there. So this will make one of the 2 that I need. Boom. So that's an engineering processor. So with 2 of those, and I'll just toss this in here with the silicon. I'm gonna need, just take all that whole pile of redstone. Smoosh. Oh yeah, and that's the other cool thing about these is that it actually is animated, so you can see your diamond in there and your press is up there, and then smoosh. Boom. So then that replaces that. Silicon down here and redstone in the center. Now, as I said, I will automate this but I want to just get, like I said, my very basic ad hoc system together. Now I also know that I'm going to need more of these silicon ones for other stuff, so I'm just going to start printing those up while I move over here and start putting this together. So that was one of those. Oh, I needed more. Oh, I'm going to use up my last 2 Fluix crystals. Let's see how my sag mill is doing. Sag mill is done. Look at all that silicon. Just going to toss these Fluix crystals in here. So basically I'm going to take these Fluix crystals and make pure Fluix. Doubles their yield, so that's very helpful. That way I'll be able to make twice as much cable with the same amount of Fluix. And I need a little bit of sand. Good. Actually, I can just do this in here. So get those 2 out, and then those go into... Oh, and the other thing should be done too. So pure Certus quartz. So like I said, they take about 30 seconds to cook up, so it's not terrible. So I can just plop that pure Certus quartz in there for now. Okay, so now I got my glass cable. Yeah, see, that's that clear lag thing I was talking about. If I was doing pure crystals just in a regular ground chamber, there would be always a danger that I would lose a bunch because of that. Did I put another one in here? I did. Good. Alright, so let's see, it was 1 top and bottom. These 2 either side, and then corners of iron. Yep, okay, so there's my drives. So this will be where all my storage is. And I'll just put that right there. This is a terrible whole setup here. I'm going to, after I'm done with this, before I get into Minechem, I think I'm going to build... No, because I wanted to wait for my division sigil. Well, I may move this between... Maybe move it over to my house. I could put it in my attic for the time being. That might be something to do with it. So next thing I need to do is make a terminal. And I start with a... I should just go right for the crafting terminal, which requires one of those calculation processors, which I need the pure Certus for. But to start, I need to make an illuminated panel, which is 2 glowstone, redstone, and quartz glass. And I hope... That was one thing I didn't pull out, I don't think. Did I? Yeah. I hope I've still got a little bit of glowstone. I know I had some glowstone. Whew. I've got just enough to make 1 panel, so... Yeah, that's another thing that I need to pick up on my trip to the Nether when I eventually go and do it, is I'm going to need glowstone. So I should add that to my sign when I'm done here today. Okay, so then quartz glass in the back. And iron. Okay, so it makes 3 illuminated panels. Okay, so I've got enough to make a couple of different panels if I need to. Alright, so then I need to make a regular ME terminal, which is a logic processor, formation core, and annihilation core, and each of those take an additional logic processor. So I actually need 3 logic processors, which I think I've now got 3 printed silicon. Good. So I can pull that out, and then I need the logic one, and that takes gold, which I don't have enough gold on me. That was another thing that off-screen I actually made a little, tuned the digital miner in to pick up gold, because I knew I was running out of it. And I would need a lot of logic processors. Specifically I think the ME drives that I want to make, the 1K drives, require logic circuits, or logic processors, so then... That's one thing that I just don't... It would be nice if these had a more staging area for smushing together so you didn't have to stand here early on and do it all by hand. It's one of the benefits of automating it, is you don't have to stand here and do this. You can just dump and go. So I need a formation core and an annihilation core. The formation core, I believe, is regular Certus with dust. Yep, that's the formation cores. And annihilation cores, a piece of sand here, will be with nether. And I'm pretty sure pure nether will work too. So pure nether is made exactly the same way as the other pures. Just top that in there and give it 30 seconds. Meanwhile, I should start doing more silicon. Ooh, there's some lag. Yeah, for some reason we've been having a lot of strange lag on the server. That was client lag, which I can't account for because I'm not running anything else on my computer right now. But we were ticking really bad about a half hour ago, and I don't know why. Well, it's probably some cleanup to do. We had actually a pretty major server crash about an hour ago. A bunch of people lost all their character inventories, so we're not really sure what happened, but it was pretty major. So I think one of our ops is probably sending that error log over to the RR people, just to see if it was something with one of the mods or what. All right, so we'll just do 8. That should be enough for now. Bold and remember crisp with sunlight whilst fighting ill-hearted. Alright, so these should be done. Good. Alright, so now I can make the annihilation cores. So 1 pure nether, a fluix dust, and another logic processor. Oh, hello. Oh, they're spawning over that thing. Luckily, I'm close enough to the ground that I haven't actually had a lot of problems with spawning. In fact, I've had the opposite problem. Not enough stuff spawns up here. Like, I've only had a couple of mobs spawn over in this little area over here, and I actually built it partially so I could get a couple of mob spawns. Mostly I wanted some bone. Be nice to get an enderman too, because ender... Oh! That reminds me of another thing that I need to do. I may add that to my board as an in-between. On my voyage, and I'll just touch this real quick, I picked up a bunch, not in here, a bunch of ender lily seeds. I really need to get some endstone, which I can fabricate. It's expensive, but I can fabricate it. Anyway, I can take these ender lily seeds, plant them on endstone, and they will make ender lilies, which will eventually, they take a long time, but they bloom and produce ender pearls, which, since I don't yet have a good stable supply of ender pearls, that would be a good thing to do for me. And from what I've heard, you can actually automate them with just the Mine Factory Reloaded farming stations. So that's actually something that's very worthwhile to do. So I may add that to the board as an in-between, just to get a good stable supply of ender pearls. Sorry, that was a bit of me wandering off there. So that's the core. So now I need to turn those into to ME terminal, which uses the last logic processor. Good. So that one, that guy, one of those, and one of those. Good. So then I combine that with, what was it? Oh, I need a calculation processor, which I can use that for. One of those with it. So it's that guy, and that guy. Boom. ME crafting terminal. So I'll just, I will, I guess, put that over here. I've got a little bit of, yeah. Boom, and boom. And then I'll just put this right in the end of that. Good. Good, so now I've got a crafting terminal. There's not going to be anything here because I do not have any drives. And that's the last thing that I need to make in this ad hoc system is any drives. And drives are a 1K. Just going to make 1Ks for now. So you need pure Certus on 4 sides around a logic processor to make the storage component. And then that goes into a storage cell. And that storage cell... That's the wrong cell. Oh, there. And that goes into a cell which is 2 of the quartz glass, 3 iron, and 3 redstone. So I'm going to make 4 of those. So I'm actually going to... Since it's all stuff that you've already... Since these are... It'll take 4 logic processors, and those take a while. I'll just cut out here and cut back in when I've got all 4 of those logic processors. Alright, so I've got those processors made. I also gathered all the rest of the materials that I needed in order to make all these 1K drives. So, once again, logic processors in the center. I believe this is corners. And there's some other stuff. Oh, and then... that, yeah, okay, so that's 4 of those guys. So now we need to put them into a... So this was there and there, that there, that there, and then iron across the bottom. Good. Boom. There we go. 4 1K ME storage cells. And gather the rest of that back up. Good. Now, we'll go over here, and we can just plunk them in. Boom, 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 boom. So each one of those gives me a storage of 63 items. So I should be able to empty pretty much all of my stuff into this thing. So let's just get started on that. Glass. We'll put these in there for now, but I'm going to eventually need those out. Yeah, all this can go in there. That can go. Oh no, I'm gonna want those chickens actually. Keep those out here. Put that potash in there, and I'll throw that torch in there. Good. So, crud. Gather the rest of this stuff up. All this can go in there too. Boom, boom, boom. And pick up this chest. Boom. So that's the ME system. Growth chamber, all ad hoc. So that's off the board. Wow, doing good. Let's do that all over. Wow, yeah.